This is a movie I haven't seen since the 80s, and I remember it scared the hell out of me. And I never remembered why. I always thought because the principal from I always thought because the principal from Ferris Bueller was in it, and he was the bad guy, and he turned into this monster. That is the only thing I really remembered from this movie as a child. And I just went from like this. It just, I always had this picture in my head of just this crazy look, gnarly, like sounding voice. And it like came out in 86, and I watched it when I was real young. So it was like 87. So maybe about 6 years old, 6 or 7. And I think my family thought when they rented it, this was a kid's movie. And it really is not a kid's movie. I have a 6-year-old now, and he was like, "Can I watch it?" I'm like, "No, this is not Donald Duck. You need to leave." I was like, "Let me finish this, and then we'll watch something else later. Watch DuckTales later, and we'll get that out." So I sit down and I rewatch this movie, and does it need to be fixed? Yes, it's not a good movie. There's a lot of problems with it. Are there aspects to it that are cool? Yeah. First off, I want to name some of the good. The costume for the duck is awesome. If that's a costume, I have to look it up and see if that's costume or animatronic. Either way, really well done. It still holds up, I think. Looks cool. The CGI version with Seth Green and the Marvel movies is cool. I like the look. It's still not 100% like what the comic book version of is, but neither is this movie. But I really like that it is a live action and kind of worked out well. The monster at the end is gnarly and cool. I did not remember it at all. I just remembered the pedophile principal from Ferris Bueller. Him being a monster in it, and I didn't realize that he came back and was good after that. So like a lot changed to it. Tim Robbins being in it, I didn't remember him at all. Leah Thompson, I do remember her. So let's get down to fixing it. How do you fix Howard the Duck? First and foremost, I know it's the 80s. I know we had this big thing in the 80s about like aliens and bringing things in from other planets. It was just like this trope that like it seemed like if we needed some type of movie where we needed something weird to come into play, we would just say it's from outer space, and then that would be the explanation. That's what we got, or it'd be just very thin. We could have done better. And it's okay that he's from another planet. I don't care about that. But just the fact that he got sucked out of his apartment all the way to Earth and landed in Cleveland, and that's just what happened. It just didn't jive well. You could have done this so much better. I liked the fish out of water element, where he's just trying to figure out life. The scientists come into it a little bit late. Tim Robbins playing this lab assistant who just wants to get rich off of Howard, and he's kind of a dullard who wants to like hook up with Leah Thompson's musician character all the time. And there's just so much going on. It's a very convoluted story, and it didn't need to be. And I think that was really what my problem was. I think you need to dumb this down a little bit. And honestly, I would have made it where he's a lab assistant and he's messing with maybe multiversal. Now, I understand the multiverse is a very touchy subject right now because it seems like everybody's doing the multiverse. But even if you didn't want to do multiversal and you did want to do a planet, I would do it in such a way where you're not sucking him from his planet, but like maybe you're opening up a doorway to another planet. And like he sees him there and he grabs him because he sees like, oh my God, this is an alien. I can get rich off of this. Or one aspect I thought might have been very cool was he takes the girl to visit this planet. They meet Howard. They become friendly with Howard. He's like, I found this planet. I found this key that opens things up. Let's go there. Let's check it out. He goes in. They both go in. They meet Howard. Maybe they try to take something of his or some proof that they're there. Howard follows them back, but what I would have done was at least had them spend 30 to 40 minutes in Howard's world And I'm getting to the reason why in just a second. I just don't want to say it right off the bat, but spend the time in the world, get to know their world, have them be the fish out of water. Maybe Howard's guiding them around or whatever. They become friendly. He starts taking a liking to her. She starts taking a liking to him because now she's seeing him as like, yeah, you're a duck, but like you're a musician. You're kind of rolling around. You're doing your thing. Like it's almost like everything's like human here, like our world. So you're playing into that. Now he wants to come back. Hey, you want to come back and check out our world? You know, or you want to see this? And like maybe Tim Robbins' character has this notion of, I'm going to be rich. And she's just like, I like you. I want you to see my world. I've seen yours. Come see mine. And maybe some of you know where I'm going with this, but so then they go back to the world. He's in there and he starts flagrantly trying to throw him into the world of like being on TV and stuff like that. Howard's not into it. He doesn't want to do that stuff. He just kind of wants to do his own thing. He's into music, so he's like that. You can keep that whole cherry bomb music idea of like he becomes the manager. Maybe still beats up her current manager, gets the money and stuff. It still like has those elements where he's like a very down to earth type of duck, you know, sort of thing. I understand my phrasing there, but you know, I think that would have helped. Now, the scientist who built the machine that he's messing around with and trying to get rich off of and experimenting with are now pissed because he's trying to get rich and it's their machine. So they start screwing around trying to open up the portal again. And that's when they start pulling in these otherworldly beings that are possessing them. And you can still have that scary element of it, but you got to take the campiness out of it. And now the way I would do it is I would almost do it like Crocodile Dundee meets Buckaroo Banzai, toned down. So like when they're in his world, when they're in Howard's world for like the first 30 or 40 minutes, it's like Crocodile Dundee when she's in his world. He's protecting her. He's keeping her safe. She's learning his ways because that's how she's going to survive. She sees in his element, he's king. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to survive. And then when they get back to her element, he can still survive. He still knows what to do. It's not different. He's just a duck where they're humans. So he's still good. But the bigger threat is the fact that he was discovered has now opened up a door for other things to be discovered. And they are a threat. And now he's the only thing that can stop it. Now, the fun thing about Howard the Duck and what the comic books were is there was supposed to be satire. He was dealing with like horror things. Like the first being he ever meets in the comic books is Man-Thing. You know, and Man-Thing had just like gotten his butt kicked, you know, in the Florida Everglades. And, you know, Howard the Duck helps him. You know, so going on with that, Howard Duck is always like reluctantly going on these adventures because he can handle himself. He can do these things. And that's who he is. This would be a good origin story to say, okay, now you're stuck on Earth. They've closed the portal. It's so crazy. You got in, you're here. They can't open it back up. They're bringing other things in. Now you got to fight them off. You've opened yourself up. And you don't even have to name superheroes, but you can say it's open to the idea that like there are superheroes out there, or there are other worldly beings, that are other things that may be able to help. Let's go see this scientist, Reed Richards, or something like that, you know, because it was a Marvel movie. If you wanted to go that route. But Howard the Duck could have been so much better if you did add that element or expand on that element of like what Crocodile Dundee was. So when he gets back, yeah, he's in a place he doesn't know or understand, and he's seeing things he doesn't know or understand. But he can handle it because he knows who he is. And I think that's where you would have fixed it. Take out all the hokiness, take out all the craziness, because deep down, if you watch this movie, Howard's not bad. Howard's not the problem with this. That character is fine. It's everyone around him is saying stupid, weird stuff. All the dialogue is really crappy. The story is crappy. But the character of Howard was written all right, and he kind of could have went on with it. quack foo is a real thing. Like a lot of people laughed about it. I was like, quack foo, huh? But that was part of the comics. He knows quack foo. He's proficient in it. That's why he can fight. That's why I dug it, and I thought this would have been really cool if they had done it with this movie. And hopefully they do make a Howard the Duck movie or a TV show or a special or something, because it could be really cool to see. And add that to it. So I don't know. Maybe I fixed it. What would you guys like to see something like that? Would you like to see a Howard the Duck movie along those lines? Sound off in the comments. Let me know. That's my Did I Fix It of the week. Howard the Duck. Thank you, Chris Harris, for giving me the movie. I appreciate you. I think you just like kind of shouted it out one time in the comments, and I just went with it. So, I appreciate you for doing that. Thank you. He's a patron supporter, and I truly appreciate you for that. So if you guys have any other movies, my only stipulations for the Did I Fixes, they have to be studio films, and they have to be bombs or critically hated or audience mostly hates it and stuff like that. Movies that you really do think can be fixed. I don't do independent films, and I don't, trash anybody else's like, student films, anything like that. Studio films only. So I'm Mick from the Scene Snobs. Guys, we have a lot of stuff going on. The summer's going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of fun. Snobnation Morning Drive live show will be coming back. There's going to be some changes about it. When it does come back, we will talk about it more. And I want to say I appreciate all of you for being a part of it, supporting things like that. Thank you to all our patron supporters for everything that you do. Truly appreciate you. Love all the support and the Snobs Nation and all that you guys do. If you guys want to join up on Patreon, we got our link down below. We have 6 tiers available. We'd appreciate it. Or you can join up on the Discord. Follow us on any, we have great conversations going on there. That's Snobnation Discord. That's free and open to everybody. So links down in Linktree below. Or you can follow us and all social media and all that stuff.